I told you, script has to be defined. Script has to be defined. Now, every programming language will start with the variables. How do you define? Generally, if you take Apex programming, how do you define it? Integer age, string name. This is how you define the variables in the Apex programming, right? But whereas when you go to the script, in the scripting, all the variables are represented as var. In the scripting, all the variables are represented as what? Var. We don't define like integer string like that. We define every variable with a var. Var stands for variable. Var age equal to 10. Var name equal to. This is how I need. Var age, var name, var branch. All the variables in the JavaScript are defined with the var. All the variables in the JavaScript are defined with the var. Var stands for variable. All the variables are represented with var. So, you want to define an array. Even the arrays are represented as var. Var. All the arrays are also represented as var. Everything that you define, every variable that you define in the script, they are represented with the var. Every variable that you define in the script, they are represented with the var. Okay. Now, let's go to the next step. If you want to run the Visual Force page with script, what is the order of their execution? If you want to run JavaScript with the Visual Force page, how they will run? Look at the format. So how they are running was script you can get var a equal to 10. Then I'm giving it now we are writing the program here. When you are implementing a script along with the Visual Force page, it will be printed in that. It will be executed in a top-down approach. Look at the format. See slide 1. So what is the order of their execution? Top-down approach. I am defining a script along with the Visual Force page and I am running it. So how they are executed? Line 1, line 2, C value, line 3, line 4. How the scripting is running? Scripting is running along with the Visual Force page in the top-down approach. The scripting is running in the Visual Force page in the top-down approach. The scripting is running in the Visual Force page in the top-down approach. Right, boss? Script is also executed along with the Visual Force page in the top-down approach. But I don't want the script to run directly. I want the script to run whenever an event occurs. So, if you want the script to run at a particular time, then I have to define the logic within a function. Now, if I define a logic directly within a script, it is running along with the page, but I don't want the script to run along with the page. I want the script to run only when an event occurs. Then what happened? I have to define functions in the JavaScript. How do you define functions in the JavaScript? If you want to define a functions in the JavaScript, look at the stacks. function, function name, parameters. This is how we define the function. Function, function name, parameters. How do you define the functions in the JavaScript? Function, function name, parameters, logic. So look at this part. Function, so write what are the logic you want. Function with parameters. Function, so why I am not giving generally when you write a function with parameters? How do you define? Void, so the Apex program you write like this, right? So what is the function? We are not defining any return type. The function, we are not defining integer or string. Why? Because everything is a var. Everything is a var. That's the reason straight away parameters we are writing. In the script, every variable is a var. There's a reason we are not giving the data type. Straight away we are giving as a var. Straight away we are giving as what? Name, age. Everything is a var. Every element is a var. In the script, every element is a var. There is a reason we are not defining integer or string. Then I am giving here function. Then I am giving here function without parameters, function with the parameters, function with the return type. So when you want to define a functions in the JavaScript, we are going to define like function, function name, parameters. Function, function name, parameters, logic. If you have any return type, return type. So how you are defining function, function name, function, function name, parameters, function, function name, parameters. Function, function name, parameters. If you want to apply any logic, you write a logic, and if you want to give any return type, you can give a return type. Are you clear about this? People are clear about this. Now create a function, call me. Create a function, call me, which returns branch name. Create a function, call me, which returns branch name. Create a function, call me, which returns a branch name. Create a function, call me, which returns a branch name. How you define it? Function, call me, then some branch name. Right box. Basic idea. Function, function name, parameters. Now next, when are these functions invoked? When are these functions invoked? Functions are invoked whenever an event occurs on a component. Functions are invoked whenever an event occurs on the element. So, what are the events that we have? So, what are the events we have? If whenever an event occurs, the functions will be invoked. What type of events occur? So, look at the events that we have. On change, on click, on mouse over, mouse out, key down, key okay, on load. That number of functions which we have. The different types of events that we have. What are the events? Like we got some of the examples. On change, on click, on mouse over, on mouse out, on key down, on key up, on load, on complete, on complete. So like this, there are so many events which are there. Based on the events, whenever the event occurs, the corresponding functionality will be invoked. Whenever the event occurs, the corresponding functionality will be invoked. The basics I'm going for WC side, I'm giving a basic again. Okay. So what is that? So on change, on click, on mouse out, all these are what? Events. Whenever an event occurs, whenever an event occurs, whenever an event occurs, the function will be called. Whenever an event occurs, the function will be called. There will be key events, mouse events, okay, on page events, right? On click, on change, on focus, on blur, on focus, on blur. I'll just give some of the functions. On click, on change, on focus, then on complete. Like this. We have so many events are there. So whenever an event occurs on the element, whenever the event occurs on the element, scripting will be called. The scripting function will be called. Whenever an event occurs, I'll give the hard copy. Listen. Hard copy is given. So whenever an event occurs, a function will be invoked. So let us do this. Let me give you. I want to give some pop-up message. If you want to give alert message, pop-up message, what is it? Alert. Let me make it simple. Document dot, right? Now, I'm giving here fx text on. What are the events here? All these are events. On blur, on change, on click, on double click, focus, key up, key down. All these are events. On change. So what is document dot write? It writes that whatever you have written here, it will be written on the body of the page. Document dot write. It is going to print this message on the document. So we have this is call me. This is call me. What are you getting here? This is call me. This is call me. I'm giving you a next message. Effects. Input text. On focus or else on blur. When it's on blur, when you move the cursor out of the box, right? When you move the cursor out of the box, are you getting my point? Event, call the function. Event, call the function. Event, call the function. On a component, when an event occurs, call the JavaScript. On an element, on a component, when an event occurs, call the JavaScript. On component, when event occurs, call the JavaScript. Are you clear about this? Now, instead of printing document.write, I want to give alert. What's that alert? The pop-up box. pop-up box. This is call me. This is call me. Right, boss? If you want to get any pop-up alert box, you're going to use alert. Alert. It's going to give a pop-up box. Alert. It's going to give a pop-up box. Now, understand the next one here. Apex command button. On click. On click. On complete. There are two events. On click, on complete. So let us see. On click, on complete. So let us go to the page. I am clicking on the button. What is this? This is call me. Where is this call me defined? Then this is call me, this is show. So when you say on click, call me. So first it is running. First it is running. After running this, what is it calling it? On complete, show. Then it is running. Alright, boss? On click, first on click will run. Then once the operation is completed, on complete will run. On click will run, followed by on complete will run. Let me give you one more example here. Now I given var a value. Then I'm giving function. If I define outside the function, it's called as what? Global value. If I define outside the function, it's a global value. So here I'm giving. So on click, on complete. On click, on complete. Again. Reading a value. So what is happening? Any change that is made by on click will be reset by on complete. So the change has to be defined in the on complete. We are using the combination of on click and on complete. So finally, the change which is made by on complete will be reflected. So when you want to print some data, you have to see that the data is defined in the on complete. Now suppose if I don't define here, look at this. On complete I am not defined. This is a common issue what we find. Now I give. So I have defined set data frames. No issue. Now I'll show you the functional way. You'll get the difference there. So basically, on click on uncomplete, on click on uncomplete. So what are the events? On click, on complete, on change, on focus, on blur, on mouse out, on key press, key out, key release. This type of events are there. So when the event occurs, function will be called. In some cases, events are defined directly on the script. When you go for a jQuery, the events will be defined directly in the script. We don't define. Here, where are the events defined? Events are defined on the element. In this type of scripting, where are the events defined? On the elements. When you go to the next level of scripting, where events are also defined on the element directly, on the scripting directly. Here we are defining the event on the element, which is calling a function. The function is defined in the script. But when you go to the further programming, advanced programming languages, where like jQuery, AngularJS, where we define events directly in the script. In the script only we define the event. The script only we define the event. Are you getting my point here? So here the events are defined on element. Where we are going to define the here the events are defined on the element. Where we are going to define events on the scripting. In the scripting we define the events. Are you getting? There are two ways in which we can define events. One is on the element, other one is within the script. When you go to jQuery, then I am going to define all the events on the element directly in the script. Right box? Okay. You get my points here. Right. What we covered is how to define a variable, how to define a function, how to define a function, how to call a function. 3 points we have covered. Let us go to the next one. How to read data from Visual Force into JavaScript. The data which is entered in the Visual Force, how to read the data in the JavaScript. Reading the data of a Visual Force elements in the JavaScript. Elements in the JavaScript are recognized based on the IDs. If you want to refer to any element in the JavaScript, they are recognized. Understand this carefully. I'm just trying to define an element. Right. Clear any query. Simple page block with the two items here. Page block section item. Section item 1, section item 2. Clear any query. That is a basic Visual Force page, right? It's a basic Visual Force page. Here I am defining it. Now I am passing. Now you have to understand scripting is a case sensitive. Second point you have to understand scripting doesn't have any compiler, it's an interpreted language. That means any bug comes, you have to go through line by line and check out where is the bug. Like a compiler don't give line number 10 source error, line number 20 source error. It is not a compiled language, it's an interpreted language. And scripting is a case sensitive. Scripting is a case sensitive. Right. I'm giving it. On age. Look at this. I'm passing this dot ID. When I say this dot ID, element on which I am clicking, on which I am changing the value, that element ID. ID of the element on which I am changing the value. ID of the element. If you want to know the ID of the element on which we are making a change, we have to give it as what? This dot ID. We have to give it as what? This dot ID. on change. What is that? This is not ID. ID of the element on which I am making a change. Go back to the script here. So look at the ID. What we got? Page, form, page block section, item, followed by it is giving what? When it says this dot ID, in the page we have a form, in the form we have a page block, in the page block we have a page block section, in the page block section we have a page block section item, in the page block section item we have a or getting my body. So complete ID we are getting. Let us go back to the next step. So look at the form. Page, form, page block section 2, followed by. So if you want to refer to this element, how are you referring? In the page we have a form, in the form we have a page block section, in the section we have a page block section item, in the section item we have this dot. Are you getting my point? Complete structure we are getting. Complete structure we are getting. So how to refer to a element in the JavaScript? We are getting the complete path of the element. So page, form, page block section item in that name. Page, form, page block section, page block section item, age. Complete path we have defined. If you want to refer to any one of the element, if you want to refer to any one of the Visual Force element within the script, we have to give the complete path of the element. We have to give the complete path of the element. Is that was clear? Is that was clear for us? How to refer? Is that was clear? Okay. Now let me give you next. Now, how to pass parameters? How to pass the parameters? Now, what type of parameters will be there? One is passing the static data. How to pass the static data? Second one, how to pass the global data. Third one, how to pass its object data. Fourth one, so this is the four types, right? Static data, global data, its object data, effects class with. How to pass the parameters to the scripting function. When I say parameters, it is a parameter of static data, global data, its object data, effects class with. So here I am giving script. Right. Next we have submit on change. I am passing the static data. On change, straight away I am giving the value. Static data. Value. Global data. How do you know it's a global data? Any data you want to pass, expression format. Dollar. Now we are passing the data, right? We are not referring the data. We are not referring to the element. Am I referring to the element here now? I am not referring, I am invoking the function. Now if I want to refer to the value of this, I need an ID. Now I am not referring to the value, I am invoking a function. When event occurs, I am invoking a function. If I am referring to the element, I require ID. I will define apex class. So here we have command button value on change. Where is the bug? Command button on change. The button, right? So it should be on click. Right. So I made this. Have a preview. Here we have submit whatever the data we pass Satish, global data, org, got development org, apex, st. So how you pass? If you want to pass any value, in the expression format we have to pass. If you want to pass any value, from Visual Force, then it should be in the expression format. It may be global data, it may be variable, it may be field from S object. Whatever the data you want to pass from Visual Force to the JavaScript, it has to be in the expression format. If you want to pass any one of your apex variables or S object variables or your values as a parameter, it has to be defined in the form of expression. Are you clear? About this? We are passing the values in the form of expression. Now let us combine all of them, build in examples. We have seen how to define an event, how to define a function, how to define a variable, how to pass the parameters. Okay, let us join all of them and build few examples. Let me make it simple. Exactly. Apex. Input text ID equal to Now here I am giving some function on change. Whenever the A value or B value changes, it's going to call. So I'm giving here script. Defining. So whenever the change occurs in the input text box, calls. How to read this value? How to read this value? Where A value equal to document dot get element by ID. E capital, B capital, I capital. Get element by ID. Here E capital, B capital, I capital. Get element by ID. Where is that ID? In the page we have form. The form we have page block. The page block we have element is referred with what? The complete path. Page, form, page block. In that page block we have A value. Dot value. So whatever the value you enter in the box, I am reading this. Whatever the value you are entering in the box, I am reading. Now similarly B. Now tell me how do you read the B value? It will be document dot get element by ID. It will be page, form, page block. Right. Now I want to add. When I want to add, I want to check if A value not equal to null and B value not equal to null. If A value and B value not equal to null, then I am giving document dot get element by ID, page, form, page block, C value dot value equal to. I am giving it. If A value and B value are not equal to null, only when both the values are entered, when the value of A and B are entered, then make a sum of these. Now first of all I am doing, whenever it change, read the value of A, read the value of B. If both the values are not equal to null, then make a sum of the value and save it to C. This is reading, this is setting the value. I will preview. Now, what is happening here? It is not considering a null, it is considering what? Blank. Blank, B value not equal to blank. The first part. Right? Now, what is the format of value we are getting? It is not considering them as integers, it is considering them as what? Strings. It is considering them as what? String. So, what should I do? I will perform where C value equal to pass int of A value. Convert the A value into integer. Pass int of pass them as integer value, then add it. What I told, if A value is not equal to blank and B value is not equal to blank, I wrote some validation to them. So then we are making the operation, right boss? So what did I do? How to read the value from a Visual Force component? Document dot get element by ID, page, form, PB, A value dot value. Similarly, document dot get element by ID, page, form, PB, B value dot value. Reading the value, right boss? All clear? Now here I want to see if A value is not entered, I want to print some message. If A value is not entered, I want to print some message. What is the message? Effects output label. Now I want to print a message. What is the message? If a value is not entered, I want to print an error message here. Enter the a value first. Enter the b value first. I want to print an error message. What was that? I want to give. Again, if else if a value equal to blank. If a value equal to blank, I want to print a message. How do you want to print a message? Document dot by ID, page, form, page block. What is that? Error. Error. Right. Then error dot inner HTML. If you want to print any message, what is that? Inner HTML. Label you want to print. You want to print a text or a label. It should be what? Inner HTML. Now I'm giving. Similarly, the other condition. What is the other condition? If the value equal to blank, print the error message. Error message should be printed with what is the limit? Save b error. Enter. What I'm doing here? Box. If a value is not entered, print the message. Enter the a value. If b value is not entered, print the message. B value is not entered. Okay, preview. Enter b value. Right. Enter the b value. So next time, once I enter the value, what should happen? This should be removed. Once I enter, this should be what? Removed. Now I give an error message. Next time when you call, it should be removed. Next time when you make a change, it should be removed. Okay. Now what is that? If you want to print any labels or messages, how do you print? Inner. If you want to read the value, dot value. If you want to assign the value, dot value. If you want to print the message, dot inner HTML. Is that all clear for everyone? So how do you read? Page, form, page, colon, form, colon, page block, colon, a value, dot value. Okay, you want to assign the value, dot value equal to value. You want to print any messages or text or label, dot inner HTML. Any further queries on this? Clear for everyone? Right, boss? People have followed this. అర్థమైందా లేదా? అర్థమైతే ఎడమ వైపు ఊపండి. అర్థం కాకపోతే కుడి వైపు ఊపండి. Then I'll understand. Don't keep like static. Now, let me do one more example. Yeah, obviously. You have to go for CSS. Let me give one more component here. You need to write a logic for that. You're not writing a logic for that, you have to write a logic for that. Understand it carefully. Understand this example carefully. I wrote a class with the two variables like a value, b value, result. Here I am reading a value, id equal to a value. Then I am taking apex input. When is the apex input hidden? I stored apex input hidden value equal to whatever the value that is there in this variable, whatever the value I have assigned to this, that will be stored to b value. When I say input hidden, what happened? Element will not be visible here. When I say input hidden, what happened? Element will not be visible here. When I say input hidden, you cannot see. Element is there on the page, but you will not be able to see. Element is there. Element is there on the page, but you cannot see. Element is there on the page, but you cannot see. But if you assign the value to this, to which variable it is assigned? You cannot see this, but if I assign the value to this, the value will be assigned to b value. Action on click. When I click on this, it's going to call. Then I'm saying action. What is that? Box. When you click on this button, first call the JavaScript. Once the JavaScript is completed, then call a method called add. Then call a method called add. When I click on this button, call JavaScript. Which script you want to call? Functions. When I click on this button, run this show method. Once the show function is completed, then call the add. Then call the add. So look at the format. That's 2 points I used on click and action. When you click on this, show method is called. When the show method is called, what it is doing? When show method is called, what it is doing? Document dot get element by ID. How do you refer? Page, form. In the page we have a form. In the form we have what happened? When you call this show, I am assigning a value to input hidden. I am assigning a value to input hidden. HID. HID means this element. If I assign any value to this element, the value will automatically be assigned to what? If you assign a value to this, automatically the value will be assigned to what? Automatically the value will be assigned to what? Are you getting my point? If I assign a value to this element, automatically the value will be assigned to this value. Right. Then, once it is completed, what is happening? It is going to call add. Now, what is the value of A? Whatever the value you enter in this box, that is the value of A. Then, what is the value of B? B equal to 90. The value what you entered in the input text box and the B. Then it is going to perform sum of two numbers. So, what I am doing? I am assigning the values to a variable in the apex class. I am assigning a value to a variable in the apex class. So, I give here 10. Click on add. What are we getting? Result. So 100 is 10 plus 90. So the 90 is passing to what? Apex class. So what is the purpose of input hidden? When you say input hidden, they will not be displayed on the page, but the value was there on the page. Any value that is assigned to input hidden, then I am shown to what? B value. If you want to pass the values from a script to a apex class, yes, it is possible. You want to pass the values from a script to a apex class? Yes, it is possible. By using what? Input hidden. Are you getting my point? Are you clear about this? People are clear about this? Right. So we'll continue in the next session. Now we need to see action support, action function, action region, action colon. how to invoke a method from remote actions. Now our context is combination of Apex with the scripting. How to invoke the methods in the Apex class directly in the scripting. That is our requirement. How to invoke the methods of the Apex class directly in the scripting. For that, all these are basics. Right? So we have just completed only 4 points today. One is how to refer to the value of an element, how to define a function, how to define an event, how to define an event, how to define a function, right? Then how to read the values of element, how to set the values of an element. This is what we have done. Right, box? Am I clear with this format?